that the band is wide, not scrunched. Really important, because it will kind of ravel up and ping off. Toes need to stick out the top. All right, so we're going to leave one hand on the knee, something you've done before. I'm going to turn to face you. I'm going to start with my right hand on my knee. You need to have the band, your hand fairly close to the foot. And this arm, although you're going to lift the elbow out to the side, you really do need that shoulder down. Don't be like this, okay? So you're going to twist at the waist, bring the elbow back, pause for a second, and then come back to the front. So I'm doing that in a seated position. So you will work the oblique and the waist by doing that. Okay, so just take your time to pause. If you can, when you come back to centre, try not to release totally that resistance band. Have some resistance all the time if you want to work harder. Make sure that shoulder is down. Okay, that's for that side. I'm going to put that hand on my knee and do the other side. Really make sure that you're driving this movement with your waist, not your arm. Don't pull the arm first. The waist twists and the arm goes with it. A little pause when you get round. Okay, for the next set, we're going to come out into a pelvic tilt. Okay, so we're just going to tilt that pelvis under, not really coming into a half roll down, but our back does need to be slightly rounded. Same thing, we're just going to go a little bit quicker, so I'm not going to pause. Twist through the waist, bring the elbow back, head to the side. Twist, centre. Twist, centre. 5, we're going to 6, and 6. And switch, twist, centre. Breathe out as you twist, into centre. 4, this is fantastic for your oblique muscles, you can feel them. Last one, and come up and come forward. Just let go of the band and wiggle your fingers. I want to do a spine twist with the band, and my favourite way of doing it. Band is going to come behind your back, and you're not going to have any tension on that band, just the slightest bit, because it's more about just keeping your arms in place. So you want to feel the band going across your shoulder blades the whole time. You can have your legs crossed like mine, you can have them out like this or bent, really up to you. The most important thing with this is straight back. So I did a class last night and realised how many people actually do it with a bent back like this. If your feet are too close to you, it's impossible to get a straight back. So you need those feet away from you. You need to shuffle forward or untuck your buttocks or sit on a block. But we are working the muscles that keep your spine erect. So it's important to have that straight back. All right then, so twisting the waist to the side. This band's great because it makes you conscious of your arms moving independently. Each time you twist, just see if you can twist a little bit more. Not a great big bit, but just a tiny bit more. If your thumbs are hurting, it's likely that you've got too much tension on that band. Now I want you to check what your opposite leg's doing. So I'm going to my right, and my left knee wants to follow me. That left knee is meant to stay still. Okay, so you have to plant the feet into the floor, keeping my right leg still as I twist to the left. Now you're going to do twist, twist. It's hard to keep the band here, especially when you've been working your arms. I've noticed a lot of you have ditched the band, I don't blame you. That's it. The band is not our friend right now, not when we've done our arms. And just let go and rotate. Well done. We're only going to use the band for 2 more exercises, and then it's all about just abs. Okay, so we're back to our half roll down position, and we're going to simply do half roll downs with our band. And there are ways of making it harder. So for some of you, it makes it easier to then go into full roll down. I'm going to show you, as I normally do, the harder way of doing it all. So let's start with half roll down then. I always hold on really quite close. You need a lot of tension, a lot of pull on this. If it's too baggy, it's not going to help you at all. All right, so we're going to just start there, and we're sitting up nice and tall. We tuck the pelvis under. I'm squeezing my bottom of my legs. Now, if normally you only come to about here, Use the bands to see if you can go a bit further, and it's easier if you lift the bands slightly, but don't lift your shoulders. Sit and come back up. Alright, so whenever you want to, you can dive forward over the knees. You just keep doing them, see if you can go a little bit lower each time. Use the core to come back up. Just because you've got the bands, don't forget about using the core to help you come back up. Okay, if you know that you can do the full roll down, or especially if you normally can't quite do it and you want to do it with the band, that's what we'll do now. But just keep on with half roll downs if full roll down isn't for you, or if you've got any back problems. So you're coming all the way down. Now to help you come back up, you do what you always do, and that's chin to chest, engaging the core. You start lifting the shoulders even before you do anything, and then you lift the bands, squeeze the core, and use it to help you come back up. Okay, let's do that again. So tucking under. My bands are a little higher than my knees. You don't have to relax all the way down if you don't want to. You can stay with the shoulders up, it might make it easier. You lift the bands and come back up, lovely. Let's do a couple more, remembering to come forward into a spine stretch if you need to rest. We'll just go through that again. If you've got your head all the way down in full roll down, you do chin to chest, rounding through the neck, lifting the shoulders, squeeze the core, pull the bands up and come back up. I'm going to do 2 more. Go as slow as you can. Alright, I'm going to show you a way to go harder, whether you're doing half or full roll down. The way to go harder is just to come up a small way and pause. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here. I'm going to come up and I'm going to stop there. Up. So in this instance, the band is making it more advanced rather than helping you. Same with half roll down. You come down and pause. And you just go as far down, pausing at gaps. You could do the pulses that we did on Monday, if it was you that I did these with. I'm trying to think which class. Finish whatever one you're on. Come up to sitting. Release the band and wiggle your fingers. Those poor arms have nearly had it, haven't they? Really should have done these at the end. Okay. We're going to come to line our back, but just get the band around one. Should we do one foot first? Let's try both feet. I actually think it's easier both feet. All right. And then let's lower ourselves all the way down onto our back and rest the shoulders down. Okay, bring the heels back and then bring the knees in towards your chest. All right, so you want a little bit of tension on the band, your elbows locked into the floor, and we're going to straighten the legs from this position. Okay, so you're just going to straighten them and bend. Now try not to lock out the knees, have the knees slightly soft. Okay, so if you haven't got enough tension, put more on, but don't bend the feet backwards. There's a difference, okay? And the other thing to do is feel like you're pushing the balls of your feet into the band rather than pulling backwards on the band. So you probably know what's coming. To make it harder, you start lowering the legs, all right? And you're pushing the back into the mat so that your core is switched on and your back doesn't arch. If this was too much for anyone, you take one foot out and you have one foot on the floor and you're doing exactly the same thing. So you should feel the front of your thigh contracting, and it's also working the buttocks. It's working all of the leg, but you feel it a little more in the front of your thigh. Okay, now leave the legs long. If you need to release the band a little bit, you can. And we're going to do a double leg lower, which is normally really, really difficult, but with the band, hopefully, you'll feel it's a little bit easier. So let me show you a more modified version where the knees are bent. You're going to press the back into the mat and you're just going to bring both legs down. I'm not pushing into the band, I'm just using the band to help me. Alright, so knees are bent, push the back into the floor, breathe out, bring them down, breathe in, bring them back up. Again, you could do this with one leg. If you want to go a little bit more difficult, the legs are straight, relax the shoulders and you bring the legs down, just to the point that your back starts to say, I don't like that, and then you come back up. You can do these without the band if your hands are hurting. And now I'm going to do circles. Again, if that band's hurting, just ditch it. I'm going to ditch mine. I'm just going to do it. You can do it with the hands under the bottom if you're not using the band. And if you don't like two legs, as always, put one leg down. I'm doing quite small circles. You can do circles with your knees bent as well if you're really tiring. And then I'm going to start making my circles bigger. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm going to sway from side to side, lifting one side of my back off the mat. I want to try and keep as much of the back on the mat as possible. Reverse your circle. Really slow. If you've had enough, just rest. We've got two more. It's hard on the hip flexors, this one. And bring the knees in and rock side to side. We've lost someone. Who's that? Who's gone? Can't think who's gone. Jenny, is it? Don't know. Alright, do a full body stretch for me, my lovelies. It might be Jenny's gone. Full body stretch. Okay, remember with the reverse curls, you need to work, Lillian, let me think. Yeah, there is no alternative to the reverse curl, Lillian. So yeah, if you want to do the Pilates ring, that's fine. Now ladies, I know this isn't everyone's favourite, so I'm doing an add-on to it. And if you just want to leave out the reverse curl, you can just do the add-on, which would be going from a double tabletop to legs up or down, all right? Now, there is an easy way to do the reverse curl, so again, I'll show you like I do every time. The easiest way would be to put those hands as long as possible underneath the butt, and then when you bring the knees right into the chest, so it's not tabletop with your knees here, it's right in, and all you're doing is just bringing those knees in so that your bottom raises off your hands a little bit. That's all it needs to be. With your arms long like that, it just stops you from hunching your shoulders and hurting your neck. All right, and that will work your very low abdominals. All right, this gets that bit for me, like around the cesarean scar, quite low down. Okay. Or you take your hands away from underneath you. I like to have my hands slightly out, and I really do use my arms to push up. So I'm just going to come a little bit more. Now, normally with a reverse curl, I say about coming up, but this is more about just getting your bottom up and your knees backwards. Okay? And as I showed you before, if you want to add on, when you get back to your very slow double tabletop, you reach the legs up to the ceiling, bend, and off you go again. Reverse curl, down, straighten, bend. Going at your own pace. I'm also now going to bring my legs lower when I straighten them. So you're attacking the abs in every direction. Now we need to think about our breath When you do your roll down, you need to keep that back firmly pressed into the mat, and then exhale as you stretch the legs. So I breathe out as I reverse curl, breathe in, coming down from it. Breathe out, stretch the legs, breathe in, bend. Lovely. And then put one leg down at a time and stretch. Fantastic. Just completely relax your body. I'm just going to do another exercise and then it's time for relaxation. Okay. If you want to do a modified version, it's something that we've done a lot, and that is an ab curl cross. Let me just show you quickly. You just come across like you normally do, down, and then you go back to the same side and reach to the side of the leg. So it's one of them and one of them. Or you're going to have both legs long, and that knee's going to come in and down, and then you reach over to a straight leg. All right, so pick whichever one you want to do, and then when we've done 2 to one side, we'll do 2 to the other. All right, so let's all start together, and then I'll move on, so at least you know both versions. So both hands behind the head. You know the drill with an ab curl. You're engaging the core, you're lifting from the centre of your chest, feeling the top of your shoulders come up, and then you just squeeze the opposite rib to the opposite hip, looking to the side of the knee, and then come down. Come back up exactly the same way, but this time you let go with the opposite hand and reach towards the thigh. Don't have to touch, and down. Okay, other side, up, twist. Oh, sorry, you're not reaching that one, you're just doing it with the elbow, and then you reach for the second. So with the second, you're almost reaching a little bit more. So you do a twist with the elbow, and then you really reach with the hand. Okay, let's do the second version, or carry on with those if you're going to stick with those. So legs are long, you bring the leg in and cross elbow to knee, down, and then leg up towards the ceiling and reach up as far as you can. Switch legs, cross, down, reach, down. You could just do normal ab curl crosses, Lillian, seated on the chair if you wanted to, unless you've got to go, sweetheart. If your legs start hurting doing the advanced one, then just go back to knees bent. It's playing havoc with my hip, so it might be doing the same to yours. You could still raise a knee, but the other leg is bent. Okay, one more each side. Unless that makes you uneven, you can even it out. And head down. I really feel like I've done something today. Not that I don't every single time we meet up, but ooh-wee. All right, just twist the head side to side. Have your knees and feet together. Open out your chest, bringing the shoulder blades towards each other, and your palms are up. And let's just bring those legs over to one side. Very, very slowly. Oh, that feels good. And relaxing those knees down. Looking in the opposite direction still for a moment. Another deep breath. And then you're going to roll over to face the same side that your knees are. Okay, so you're rolled over as if you're in bed. One arm on top of the other. And you're going to bring that arm up and over the head, circling it out to the side, keeping the knees where they are. Circle all the way down past your leg and forward again. And reverse to bring that arm down by the leg, stretching out to the side and up and back on top of the other arm. Brush one arm on top of the other, pulling it across the chest Both shoulder blades on the mat, both arms open, and then push the back in to bring the knees back to centre. Before we switch sides, let's have the feet together, and you can either open one knee at a time or both knees together to stretch the inner thighs. Taking really deep breaths now, in through the nose, out through the mouth, relaxing the body into the mat. Okay, bring the knees back together and let both of them come down to the other side this time. Having your head facing the opposite direction, staying there for 2 deep breaths. Each time you breathe out, allow those shoulders to relax and the back of your neck. And now roll over to bring one arm on top of the other. What was that funny noise? I don't know what that was. Right, and then reaching the arms, circling up and over and around to the side, circling downwards and forward and reversing. And then tracing up the other arm, across the chest, opening both arms, pushing through the back, bringing knees back to centre. Readjust yourself on the mat, bring your arms down to your sides, palms down. Let's bring ourselves forward onto the coccyx, which is 12 o'clock. Let's push up through the lower back to 6 o'clock on the back of our waist. And forward again to 12 o'clock. Let's go around the clock to 3 on the right hip, back to 6, and to 9, and to 12. Anti-clockwise this time. Really taking your time to make sure each corner touches the mat. When you're back at 12 o'clock at the coccyx, just roll up to 6 and 12, and then settle into the middle of those 2 points, the middle of the clock face in neutral spine. Bring your arms up towards the ceiling, and let's just let the wrists bend forward, so you're just dropping the hands and then bringing them straight up to the ceiling, and again just tilting them downwards and up, rotating them, rotating the wrists, fingers wide, and then clench the hands into fists, and wide, and fists, wide again, and then a very slow rotation with your thumbs. Just bringing the arms back down to your side so the elbows are just lower than your shoulders but on the floor, forearms facing the ceiling so your fingers are up towards the ceiling. Rotating the shoulders so that the forearms start to tilt downwards. They don't have to touch the floor, I just want you to feel the rotation in your shoulders. And then back up towards the ceiling so your arms are at right angles where the elbow bends, and then you're going backwards. So don't force the arms down to the floor, just rotating forwards and back. And then bring them to face up towards the ceiling again. Reach them up. Reach so that you can feel the shoulder blades widening, and then just let them float back down to the floor, palms up. And just closing your eyes, and we're just going to focus on the breath. We're going to try and breathe in for 3 and out for 3, but I don't want you to labour the breath, and if you struggle, count to a lower number. I just want to use the breath to help to relax the body. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and breathing out, 2, 3. Breathing in, 2, 3. This time breathing out for 4, 3, going in your own time. Breathing in through your nose and slowly breathing out through the mouth. Starting to notice the effect of a proper deep breath into your body, the effect it has on your body. And drawing that breath deeper down, you're helping to slow the body down, to decrease the heart rate. Great technique to use if you're anxious or worried. You don't even need to close your eyes. Breathe in for a count of whatever you prefer, and breathe out for a count of one more than the in-breath. You might prefer to count to much higher than that, depending on how long you can do the breath. I really want you to practice this now. I'm going to leave you to practice the breath. And each time you breathe out, allowing your body to relax more and more. Don't be in a rush to jump up. This is as important as anything else we've done, if not more. Keep going with the breath. I will love you and leave you. And thank you for coming. Shall we get